This is Chronicle, a Star Trek audio fan production.
First Officer's Log. USS Witch of Endor has arrived in the Helios Nebula.
I do not understand your request.
I would prefer not to give my reasons.
I would prefer not to do as you ask. Are you making this unofficial order?
No. More, this must be done with discretion. No one but we two should know.
Please explain.
A real possibility exists that someone aboard ship is not who they seem. Security protocols should have been sufficient to discover this, but I believe the equivalent of a loophole exists.
What reason have you to believe this might be the case?
Because it almost certainly is the reason for the loss of the Cassandra.
You believe someone in sickbay may be an imposter.
The necessary parameters include such a person.
All but one member of sickbay have served together for years.
Dr. Nath does not fit the parameters. This imposter, if they exist, must have been in place for years. We do not know who else can be trusted, so I cannot make this inquiry on my own authority.
This seems a flight of imagination, Lieutenant. However, given the premise, I cannot fault your logic.
Thank you.
Gratitude is illogical.
Report.
3 star systems within 5 parsecs. One shows planets, but the gases of the nebula interfere with sensors. Shall we go to scanners?
Negative. Cut impulse engines.
Cutting impulse engines.
Crank up the sensors to 11.
Captain, I don't understand.
Listen. As hard as this ship can, assume something out here is hiding.
Aye, sir. Are you expecting someone to be hiding?
No idea. All I know is we've lost 2 ships. First the Skyview 9 years ago, then the Cassandra. And we've got theories but almost no facts to explain what happened, especially the Skyview.
Like the Franklin expedition.
What was that, Lieutenant? Speak up so we can all hear.
Almost 600 years ago on Earth, sir, a famous, or infamous, mission of exploration using 2 ships with the most advanced technology of the time. The commanding officer was named Franklin. Both ships vanished. Historians think they figured out what happened, but no one knows for certain.
What is the theory?
We're not a sailing ship and this isn't Earth, in case you haven't noticed. Still, the parallels are there. What were those ships named, Lieutenant?
The HMS Terror and the HMS Erebus. I think that last one is supposed to be a landmark in the afterlife.
Huh. Do you happen to know who the Witch of Endor was?
No, I do not, Captain.
Disappointing. Anyone? No one?
Isn't she a character in a religious text?
Well, you've got that much right. She was someone supposed to be able to speak with the dead. Poetic, would you say, Lieutenant?
I suppose so.
Mr. Chauvin.
Sensors detect nothing unusual, Captain, but as Ensign Crane already noted, the nebula's gases do interfere.
Lieutenant Stiles, how far are we from USS Skyview's last position?
Approximately 700 million kilometers, sir.
Head there now. 1/2 impulse power. Full sensor sweeps and scanners. Maintain red alert. Look for clues of what happened 9 years ago. The truth has waited long enough.
1/2 impulse power, aye.
Whoa.
This is not a simulation.
Excuse me, you actually did this?
May we?
You experimented on the computer core?
No, we have parallel set of bioneural-circuitry. We use them to test out reactions to different conditions and stimuli.
Why? I mean, why not use computer simulations?
Because the simulations are based on what we know, or can predict based on what we know. Or at least what the computer can predict based on what we've told it. The parallel circuits let us learn what we don't yet know, using the real thing rather than some digital recreation. Honestly, if we're not going to do that, might as well try to find strange new worlds and civilizations on the holodeck. Save the trouble of building ships. But useless. We wouldn't really learn anything. Like the USS Skyview. No way to really find out what happened to her without
literally coming out here and looking, yeah.
Which is why I've been running these scenarios with the parallel circuits, seeing how the bioneural elements respond.
Okay, show me the results again. Whoa.
We've gone to warp.
Warp 3.
Continue for 1/2 hour, then drop out. We'll see if we can still find traces of Skyview's warp signature. If not, we backtrack.
Aye.
If it weren't for the trace gases here in the nebula, no way any trace of the warp signature would remain.
Heard you the first time.
Yes, Captain, but the gas is very irregular. We cannot count on sufficient density to retain signs of the Skyview's passage.
You have any kind of idea you want to share, or do you just like to state the obvious?
Captain, I recommend we run a continuous sweep for the trace elements in the proportion matching that of a Pulsar-class starship.
I see. On the theory the Skyview has been destroyed?
That is a possibility we must consider. With all due respect, it does seem one of the more likely ones. No offense, Lieutenant.
None taken, sir.
I see. Good idea. Ensign Crane,
Sir,
do exactly as Mr. Jovan says. You can get the parameters from him, which I assume he has ready.
Mais oui, Captain.
You know anything we find like that will most likely turn out to be wreckage?
I do realize that.
And if that's what we find, what we'll really need to find is anything else in the vicinity.
Sir, I don't quite...
Starships don't just blow up, Commander, not by themselves. Well, not usually. If Skyview was destroyed, we need to know who did it, how, and most importantly, why. Do you agree?
Yes, Captain, I do.
Captain,
Report.
does this not fall under what you and Commander Jovan were discussing? Some small asteroids within range show very minor readings of lambda radiation.
Like the dead system where the Cassandra was destroyed.
Yes, sir.
I hate coincidences.
May I ask why?
Because way too often they aren't coincidences at all. Mr. Stiles, ready 2 long-range probes. When we drop out of warp, launch them at the coordinates of that radiation trace.
Readying 2 probes, aye.
Well read it, Captain. It might be the perfect time to launch one of our communications buoys. Make it much easier to report all we learn back to Starfleet as well as USS Merlin.
Good. Do that.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Got a whiff, we're going to have a lot to report.
Enter.
I hope I am not disturbing you, Captain.
You are not, and I am no longer a captain.
That is, of course, true, but emotionally I still desire to call you Captain. We emotional beings are like that.
Vulcans are also emotional beings, Doctor, as you certainly already know. This music, for example, appeals to me on many levels, and one of them is indeed emotional. Do you know it?
No, but I would wish to. Another time.
Computer, pause music.
A pity. I have always enjoyed listening to music with you. It has been a rare pleasure.
You've said that before.
No doubt. Still, I don't suppose you'll be leaving the Witch of Endor anytime soon.
Why a rare pleasure? I've always meant to ask.
Oh. Well, to be honest, it isn't the music to which I was referring.
That would be illogical. You have as much access to music recording as anyone.
Very true. But listening to music with others, with those with who I feel a sense of camaraderie, sharing that experience together, that I would call rare.
I haven't pried into your history or private life, Doctor.
Feel free. I have no secrets.
You did not enjoy listening to music with your family? I was under the impression Cardassian families tend to be quite large, yet none of them shared your taste in music.
One brother and 2 sisters, I would say, did. Presumably, still do. As did my grandmother. But, well, we weren't close. Any of us, really. Not with me. C'est la vie, as Mr. Jovan would say. Not the standard for Cardassians, of course, but culture impels rather than compels. I got that last from Counselor Nemeth.
What about your fellow students, then colleagues, on Donato 5?
Have you ever been to Donato 5, Captain?
Never.
They are nice enough people, really. The Cardassian refugees who settled there found it pleasant. My family and others were settled near the equator, quite a bit warmer than the rest of the planet. Warmer than humans like. Most Cardassians kept and keep to themselves, which rendered me quite the exotic creature at school. Not unwelcome, you understand, but not precisely welcome either.
All alone in a crowd.
Precisely so.
From what you describe, such has been your life, Garim. May I call you Garim?
I would be honored. And as it happens, no. I have not been all alone in a crowd, as you so eloquently put it, for a few years now. First on USS Entente, and then here. You have been a part of that. Thank you.
My resignation has changed things. The community of the ship's crew feels disrupted.
An excellent choice of words.
What can I do?
Answer the question on everyone's mind. Why did you resign? Even I think a strong enough hint would do much to soothe the ruffled emotional feathers of us all. Even the Vulcans.
I would like nothing better than to do that, Garim. If only that were possible under current circumstances.
Well, I had to try.
Would you like to stay and listen to music with me?
I should be honored and pleased.
The Franklin Expedition was written and edited by David McDowell Blue. Scott Fack played Lieutenant Zachary Stiles. Leslie Sawyer played Lieutenant Vanel. Anne Hurd played Ensign Athena Azurian. Chris Jones played Captain Zarij. Skaha Cotter played Ensign Suzanne Draper. Paul Jacques played Lieutenant Commander Jovine. Heidi Appy played Nurse Tamir. Kurt Bonham played Dr. Maved. Rita Pardew played Ensign Crane. Hetty Lynn Hertes played Taller. The music played during the closing credits is Wistful Harp by Andrew Huang. Star Trek and all related marks, logos and characters are solely owned by CBS Studios Incorporated. This fan production is not endorsed by, sponsored by, nor affiliated with CBS, Paramount Pictures, or any other Star Trek franchise, and is a non-commercial fan-made audio series intended for recreational use. No commercial exhibition or distribution is permitted. No alleged independent rights will be asserted against CBS or Paramount Pictures.